So I've got my friend Winnie Bauman here, and today we're doing something different. So we're pairing brandy with my dessert. Now, I've known this lady for some time, and she's really sparked my interest in brandy. Winnie, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time.
Thanks, Ruben.
And I'm looking forward to, to once again taste some of the brandies. I'm sure you brought some new ones that I haven't had before. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
That's great. Well, you're a very lucky man today because you've got the two world brandies in your studio.
Wow.
Yes, and they're both from South Africa. So that's a good feat for us. Can I tell you about these brandies now?
Yes, please.
The first one is the Van Ryn 15-year-old fine cask reserve. And what the 15 years refers to is the youngest component in this bottle is 15 years old. So there could be brandy in here that's 40 years old or 50 years old. Although we know that in South Africa, the oldest brandy in cask at the moment is probably about 47 years old.
So they'll label it according to the youngest
component.
Wow.
Because this is a pot still, and it is still a blend of different vintages in order to get the right product that they want on the market. And also what the consumer likes in this product. So they know if they're drinking the Van Ryn 15-year-old, this is what it tastes like. Similarly, with this artisanal one that I brought for you today, all the way from Karlsdorp, from Coronel Boerplaas. I know he is more well known for his port, but he actually, incidentally, is the first person in South Africa that had his distilling license registered, and his license is #1. So
that's quite historic.
Yeah. And then, of course, the new kid on the block, which is the KWV 12-year-old, which was launched last year, and in its first run in a competition won the World Brandy Prize. So we're very lucky to have these today.
So we actually are producing some of the world's best brandies.
Absolutely. So you want to try some?
Yes, of course.
I'm going to, let's start with the 12-year-old from the KWV. I want to pour them so you can actually see if there is a difference in the color by which you actually can recognize.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to see. Also, while you're pouring,
Yeah.
How did you get into it? Did you just always like brandy? I mean, how did this happen?
Well, I grew up in the Karoo, and my father was a brandy and coke man, although not Clippies and Coke, but he was a brandy and coke man, until my mother decided one day that sugar wasn't good for you in those quantities. So he changed to brandy and water. And on a Sunday morning, I'd always have a sip. And then once I started doing my Cape Wine Masters diploma, brandy is a very big part of the exam, obviously because it's to do with grapes, and that is part of the qualification. And for that exam, we have to be able to recognize brandies from all over the world, different styles of brandy. And I got quite the liking for it. And today I think, as you know, I've probably got the biggest private collection of open bottles of brandy in South Africa. There are always at least 70 bottles open in my house.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it. Okay, so I've got the 12-year-old there, and then we're going to try the Boerplaas, which is the 8-year-old.
You can already see the difference in the color.
And when you put the Boerplaas next to it, you'll see that it's a slightly lighter color. And of course, this one is much younger than the other two. This is an 8-year-old brandy, and I know that part of the component in here is 20 years old. So if you look at the colors, you can already see it looks like liquid gold.
I'm going to go with a Boerplaas first.
Okay.
And then I think the other question I wanted to ask you was the difference between then, your normal brandies and pot still.
Well, in South Africa, we've actually got 3 classes of brandy. The biggest is obviously the blended brandies, and those are pot still brandies. Those are brandies that consist of at least 30% pot still content, and the pot still content means the part that was distilled in the copper stills. Those beautiful big pictures that you see, that's the pot still component, and it's actually distilled twice. So what they do is they they use the base wine and distill it once, and it goes up to an alcohol content of 20 to 30%. Then it gets distilled again, and then it goes to 60 to 70% alcohol content. And then it goes into French oak casks to mature for at least 3 years. So if it's destined for blended brandy, it will be 30% pot still, and the other 70% will be straightforward grape spirits.
Okay. So Winnie, the next one?
The next one is the Van Ryn 15-year-old. Again, quite the darker, much darker than the Boerplaas that you can see. It's been in oak a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And again on the nose, that lovely fynbos, potpourri, caramel, lovely nuts, some dark
Caramel
chocolate.
nuts, I get.
Yes, which is actually great because we're going to have something caramel nuts with it. So it'll be a wonderful combination when we do try together.
Yeah, taste it.
Taste it and see.
I think it definitely goes really well with this caramel, and the nuts has been toasted, so you know it brings out the flavors even more.
Well, of course the barrels are toasted, and that toast is adds to this caramel flavor, and it goes extremely well with the nuts. And of course the nuttiness from the maturation process of the brandy in the barrel, the fruit. I love it, Ruben.
Listen, talk to us about the KWV.
Okay, the KWV, this is brand new because they never had a 12-year in their range. And again, if you compare this with the aroma of the others, much more of a caramel nose. And you can still get much more of the floral and the herbal ones on the 8-year-old. Yeah?
It's almost, for me, it's a 12-year-old, but it smells like almost an older brandy, doesn't it?
It's, well, because, as I said earlier, the youngest component is 12 years old. So there could be brandy in there of any age up to 40. And in fact, both Van Ryn and KWV have released a 30-year-old brandy. Well, KWV last year and Van Ryn the year before. And there has been such a huge interest in it because it is so unique. And it's very different to cognac, which comes from France. I mean, this is our South African sunshine captured in a little glass.
Winnie, look, I mean, I really enjoyed all these brandies, and different components on the plate for me goes with almost with each different brandy. Winnie.
Put me out of my misery, Ruben.
Listen, I just, you know, for me, the Boerplaas really is the star, with different components on the plate. I think for this, definitely, I can have it just like that as well. I mean, any one of these brandies, but I'm going to choose the Boerplaas, just because I have to make a choice.
You have to make a choice. I agree with you, but I think that the other two also bring something to each part of the dessert. I personally would have all three.
Well, me too, but you know, like I said,
but you
I've
have
got
to make a choice.
Winnie, listen, I mean, honestly, it's always great to spend time with you. You've once again, you know, every time I just learn more about brandy, and you're a real champion, not just for certain brands, but for brandy in South Africa. And I know you go all over the world, and you're an ambassador for South Africa and for the brandy producers in South Africa. So well done on doing a great job. I know it's only going to get better, and thanks for coming and sharing some more of your knowledge around brandy. And I hope you had a good time, and all the best.
Thanks, Ruben.